And the little bat flew higher and higher, but he got caught up in the smoke. And when he got caught up in the smoke, oh my goodness, he started to cough and choke, and he began to spiral down, woo, 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 right into the crater of the volcano. And he looked down and he could see all the lava below, and he was terrified. Help, help, he started to scream. But the mountain remembered all the kind words that the little bat had said to him. And so the mountain reached up its little arms from inside the crater and gently lifted the bat to safety. But when the bat finally opened his eyes and shook his head and found himself all safe, he was not an ordinary little bat anymore. He was still a kind and beautiful bat, but he was also a rainbow bat. And so Barasa had named this little bat the Lava Fire Sun Bat. So there you go, a little starter story. And yes, hello to Rachel, and oh, Sam's watching as well. So hello, Sam. I'm going to be telling a story that is dedicated to your class today. So that's Holy Cross Primary Ones. And I also see Claire is here too. And guess what, Claire? This was actually given to me by Claire. And this is a little doll from Southern Africa, and that is going to be inspiring the story that I tell today. So you can see I'm just going to show it off because she's such a beautiful little doll. My Facebook lighting, bedroom lamps and all the rest of it. However, look at this, how gorgeous she is. But yes, the story is from Southern Africa. Oh, Granny Annie is around. Hello, Lizelle. Good to see you all. So the story that I am going to tell you is a story from the San people of Southern Africa. And the San people have an incredibly rich culture, a very strong oral tradition. And even to this day, there are plenty of storytelling sessions that are taking place. Who knows, there might be some going on right now. I mean, it'll be pitch black, the stars sparkling in the sky, so perfect storytelling conditions. So this story is a story about a man and his wife, and they were busy in their field working away. And this story is a very old story. You see, it takes place at a time when all the food in the world was raw. Yep, people would pull the potatoes out of the ground and crunch into them like they were fruit, like apples. And the people didn't mind because they didn't know any better. The fish that they pulled out of the river, they laid on the banks, and when the sun had dried it, oh, they would tuck into it or perhaps eat it. Maybe there was Japanese sushi eaten by the San people as well. So they would eat and they would cook, not cook, they would eat, and they would pull all the vegetables out of the ground, and they had all the fruit. They would go and pluck the fruit from the trees, and life was very good. But one day, as the man and his wife were busy working away in their fields, they looked up, and there in the distance there was a strange looking cloud. This cloud did not float across the sky like all the other clouds. No, this cloud came straight up the top of a mountain, and they had never seen anything like it before. And they said, "Oh my goodness, look at that cloud." Now, of course, their curiosity was aroused, and so they decided that they probably should go and investigate and see what it is. And they thought, who's going to go first? Now, everybody knows that an army will always send a little watch party first. And so the husband said, "I will go." And the wife said, "Well, only if you're sure, darling." And he said, "Yes, of course." And so the wife general waved her husband goodbye, and off he went. He had a little bag on his shoulders full of some of the fruit and vegetable that his wife had packed for him. And he walked towards the mountain. He reached the bottom of the mountain, and he started to climb higher and higher and higher and higher, and oh, it was hot. Oh, he was tired. But as he reached the top of the mountain, he saw a strange looking creature. This creature had blue and purple boots on his feet. This creature had a golden cloak wrapped around his body. This creature had a yellow and orange hat flickering in the wind. And as the man got closer and closer, he thought, "Oh my goodness, I have never seen anybody like this before." And he said, are you?" And the creature said, "I am fire, and I have been brought here to bring joy and happiness to the people of the world. Come closer, man, come closer." And so man, surprised that fire knew who he was, well, he came closer and closer, and the closer he got, the warmer he felt, the happier and cozier he was, and soon he was snuggled down next to fire, and they began to tell each other stories. They were singing songs and whistling tunes and having a wonderful, wonderful time. And I'm sure that some of you watching out there, you know how to whistle and sing. So maybe after the story, you could also do some of that at home. But as they were busy enjoying themselves, well, fire told man about everything that he could see from the top of the mountain. Oh, the man listened to this beautiful new perspective and he was delighted. And fire loved hearing man's stories of what life was really like in the village. They talked and they talked for hours and hours and hours, and they loved each other's company. But soon, as the sun passed across the sky and the night began to set in, the man said, "Oh, it's time for me to go home. But please, fire, I would love if you could come and meet my family, meet my wife, meet my friends. Please come down to my village." But fire, he said, "No, I'm sorry. I have to stay here on this mountain." But no matter how much man insisted, fire's mind would not be changed. And so, because man respected his friend's wishes, he said goodbye and off he went down that mountain. When he reached the house, he couldn't stop talking about fire. "Oh, fire is wonderful. Oh, fire has so many stories. Oh, fire is a wonderful singer. Oh, fire can whistle tunes that you could never imagine.